Hi, welcome to day 32 of my spiritual journal with me, with your soul sister, Iona, host of the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast and founder of the SoulLegacyAcademy.com. So, welcome to this episode of Spiritual Journal with me. Hopefully, you can journal along with me for your spiritual routines and rituals, specifically for light workers as you do your work in the world. I will share with you what I do for my spiritual journal routines and rituals that have helped me and supported me along the way, and just supported me in my spiritual business success, because I want to support you if you are feeling busy, if you've been broke, or you're feeling burnt out, right? So my spiritual journal with me, this is my spiritual journal. I will leave the links to this in the descriptions below. It is called the Soul Legacy Journal. It's a notebook. If you are new to me, if you've been following along and journaling with me, you'll already know this. But for those who don't know, and this is 365 days of your spiritual awakening story. So the idea is for us to journal as you go through your spiritual awakening, or multiple. We don't know when they're going to hit, when something's going to trigger our spiritual awakening, or multiple spiritual awakenings, and our spiritual ascension and our spiritual alchemy. So it says a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. So that is my journey that I want to share with you. I do have a format and a structure for my spiritual journal. It's a follow-on for me for my spiritual vision board. And today is, I'm in my green t-shirt, is Environmental Freedom Thursdays. So every single day on the spiritual, for the spiritual journal with me daily vlog, I talk about a different area of our life so we can have that light work and lifestyle balance. I really, really do strongly believe in that. I don't believe in just going out there doing our work in the world and not paying attention to other areas in our life, and it leads to busy work, and it leads to burnout, and it doesn't lead to our best work. And I don't want that for you. So as the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, I talk about launching, leading, and leaving your soul legacy, and doing it with ease, grace, and flow. That is what I wanted for myself. That is what I'm figuring out on a daily, moving all of the parts around. So I have a spiritual journal with a spiritual vision board challenge, that is a 7-day challenge to support you in that light work and lifestyle balance and each area of your life. If you are new to me and you've not done that challenge, then I will leave it in the cards and in the description below for you to take on that challenge on the Soul Legacy TV YouTube channel. You can find it in a playlist, and then you can come and do it live with me on the second week of December, annually at 7:30 p.m. UK time. So once we do the journal, the spiritual vision board, the spiritual journal with me, it will make more sense. And so it is Environmental Freedom Thursday. I'm going to talk about environment in terms of all of the topics that I talk about each day. They're all interlinked, because life and business is, I don't know about you, but for me as a light worker doing my work with my soul-based business, the business is me, right? And so it is us. It's through our growth, what we've done, our gifts come through us, through what we need to learn and what we need to go through. Then I believe we have the opportunity to give that back, and guide and share our soul path that we travel down with others. That's what I teach, that's what I do. So doing my spiritual journal is part of that, is part and parcel. It's giving that gift to myself, to have a conversation with myself on a daily basis, to focus and launch, lead, and leave my soul legacy, and do it with ease, grace, and flow. So in the spiritual journal with me, and for my spiritual rituals and routines, I talk about vision, vibration, and values. So the vision is the visioning board, the spiritual vision board. I teach you a digital vision board or Canva. Put it on your phone, put it on your desktop, do whatever you like with it. But the areas that we cover are 7 areas of your life for intentional living. And so these 7 areas, I call them the 7 freedoms, which make up the intentional living. And I think that each area, depending on what you choose, will mean the environments that you end up being in. So it's environmental freedom today. So on a Monday, I talk about contribution freedom in your light work and your lifestyle, health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom, which is Thursday today, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. So I say these are the 7 freedoms for intentional living, for setting your intentions, being intentional. Oh, and you know what? There's a book that I wanted to listen to just before hopping on, and I didn't listen to it today. I'll probably mention it a little bit tomorrow. Every single day I'll listen to a book. 555. I'll listen to a book just to fuel my mind, so I can give you that little nuggets of wisdom and share. I have a book club, which I've been influenced by Oprah Winfrey for a book club and just listening to books. And the book that I wanted to share with you today is by Oprah Winfrey. It's called What Happened to You? She co-authored it with a guy called Bruce Perry. And in it, they talk about and go through what happened to you. What happened to you when you were younger, what shaped and molded you, the environments that you were in, the influences that were in your environment, what experience, who raised you, who was around you, impacts you, right? Impacts the brain, impacts lots of different ways. And that shapes the internal, shapes the external. And we know that, we say that, and we're like, sometimes I think we forget that, we absorb a lot before we've even realized it. And they were saying, from when I listened to it last week and times before, and that book came to me by watching Jay Shetty's YouTube podcast. I was like, oh, I've got to get this book. It's an amazing book. It's called What Happened to You? When you look at and explore, hey, Robin, not of the Energy Healing TV and podcast, is on with us live. Welcome, love. How are you doing? So I'm talking about environmental freedom Thursday. And just to back up a little bit, I've talked about vision. I haven't talked about values and vibration yet, but I just lent into a book called, let me know if you've heard of this, or beyond me speaking about it, Robin, a book called What Happened to You? And I didn't listen to it before I jumped on. I did my insanity. I was actually on a call, which Robin, on hold on a call for like 90 minutes. So it altered what I was doing. I couldn't actually listen to my audible book, but I love this book. And they go into really great detail of the brain's function, and what actually happened to us when we were younger. And I know, as light workers, I sense that knowing. I've heard, and it makes sense to me. It resonates with me. Let me know if it makes sense to you. And I believe this in relationships as well. We have that soul group, we have soul family. Our children chose us, which means if our children, we openly say this, right? Our children choose us. And if our children chose us, that means we chose our parents. I'm not saying if you've got a great relationship with your parents and your parents are amazing, great. But we chose our parents, and not to say that everybody gets everything 100% right. I haven't. But if whatever happened to you, whatever environment that you chose to be in, wherever you decided to come onto this earth plane for this lifetime, you've incarnated in that space to bring your light in whatever it is. And that means that, if they've moved, if they've gone abroad, if they've traveled around the country, if you've moved a lot. I moved a lot when I was younger, and moved to different, my mum lives like 200 miles from me. And my accent is a Yorkshire accent, a Leeds accent. That's why when my mum and dad split when I was 6, we moved up north, they call it in the UK, and I moved back down to live where my dad is. My dad made his transition 8 years ago now. But those two environments really influenced me. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I might bring that in on Sunday, actually. he was saying about the environment that he was in. It's fictitious actually, and I didn't realize that. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I thought he was actually influenced by two guys. Is the theme of the book. His friend's father and his father, and basically one was rich and one was poor, and the mindset and the conversations and the influence that each one had him see the different lifestyles that you could have based on a rich lifestyle and a poor lifestyle, and that what was internal. So what happened to him influenced his life, and so what happens to us influences our internal environment, which then that influences our external environment, right? Robin says, I'm glad. I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm good, thank you. I should be exhausted with my insanity, but it was recovery today, so I'm good. I actually had, I don't even know how long a nap. I think it might have been even a 2-hour nap. I had a big meal today because I do fasting, and I have a fasting window. And so I had a bigger meal today because it was like a normal calorie day on a fasting, lower calorie day. It's lower calories. And today was like, I didn't struggle. I struggled to eat it actually, but I struggled to make up the calories. And I had a little bit of lots of different things where I usually keep my meals quite simple. So my digestion, my digestive system was like on overload. So my environment in my daytime, working from home, I went to bed. So I'm allowed to do that if I choose. And so for me, as a woman, it's going to be that time of that cycle in my month. And so I have a tired day. So I reckon it's that kind of day. But I'm good. Thank you for asking. And that's way too much information to share on a YouTube channel. However, I talk about health, and I talk about being, I'm 48, and talk about being a woman of a certain age, and, you know, the hormones, and just keeping yourself and your mind and your body, and the freedom to, in my environment, work from home and go into my bed and go to sleep. I was watching YouTube videos and I woke up, I was like, wow, my daughter came and gave me a kiss. She went off to work. So yeah, Robin says that you're not familiar with the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't even know if I mention it in the book club, to be fair. A lot of people have read that book, and when I was listening to the book that I was listening to for Contribution Monday, Chandler Bolt, he was talking about self-publishing, and he said he listened to the book when he was a teenager. Rich Dad Poor Dad, excuse me. Robert Kiyosaki actually went bankrupt. He's like, he went to millionaire, and I looked him up not so long ago. I didn't even realize all the people that have gone bankrupt. We'll talk about that on Financial Freedom Sunday. But Chandler Bolt mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki, and he says that when you think about best-selling author, 1313, yeah, when you think about becoming a best-selling author, this is a tangent, but I'm just going to roll with it. I've got my spiritual journal and my spiritual routine. Now let me come back to it. When you talk about, that's an environment as well, being an author on Amazon, right? Where you choose to put your soul work. So let's always tie it in. So he talks about becoming a best-selling author, and the key word being best-selling, not best writing author. So you've got to learn how to sell your book, right? And so many people don't. So the book that I'm part of, which I mentioned yesterday, is called The Secret Child: Life After Loss, and I'm a co-author for that book, and I've actually gone and posted it on the Facebook platform. I will post it on LinkedIn and stuff. I will mention it as from now. I dedicate my work to my son, who made his transition almost 7 years ago. And that environment I don't resonate with. However, the people that I've connected with over the years are on it, and I wanted to honor that space of going into that environment. So it is a best-selling book. Robin says, oh my goodness, what was my soul thinking? What? Explain that, Robin. I don't even know. I went off on a tangent, but it's okay because I got to mention the book. So Environmental Freedom Thursday is, for me, doing, oh, what was you thinking with the where you positioned yourself? So let me know, like, what is your experience? Because we do you believe that our children, if you are a parent, what is going on with my hair? If you're a parent, that our children chose us, even if you're not a parent, do you believe that? And then can you flip it back around? Because we do this, don't we? We kind of say, well, this is what I believe, and this is what I believe, and don't actually turn around and apply it to ourselves. Like, no, you chose to. So it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful dance, the environment. So yeah, What Happened to You is a really great book. So vision, what is the vision that you have for your environment? Have you done my spiritual vision board challenge? I love my spiritual vision board challenge. I love doing it live. I've got some lives and stuff to do. I'm going to be teaching how to do your own 7-day challenge if you want to launch a YouTube channel. Lots of people don't then take the plunge. It's like, for years I wanted to do a YouTube channel. This environment, I've loved it. I've loved coming live. It's not the same as doing a Facebook live. On the Facebook live, it was much more relaxed and stuff, and I did really like it. I really did enjoy it, and I was a little bit gutted that the direction that it's gone, but I think there's great opportunities to come. And I was sharing with somebody today, like, for so many people are like, when they do their soul work, they do their soul signature systems. I see out there people saying, come and join the Facebook group, when they do a book launch, when they do whatever, they've got in all of their emails, come and join Facebook, come and join me on Facebook. When they do the paid programs, free groups, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy that I've put my environments, my communities within the Soul Legacy Academy, and I'm building the Spiritual Biz YouTube network on Telegram, because I believe as the future goes on, and I'm not saying that I won't share this on there, because YouTube say share it to the other platforms, but it's not my primary platform, and I'm not going to be on there sharing, because I think in a few years to come, people will be coming to YouTube. And those who have done Facebook challenges, I talk about YouTube challenges. And so the 7-day spiritual YouTube challenge is that. And I will be running ads and stuff. I'm really excited about bringing YouTube challenges versus Facebook challenges to light workers, to soul-based business owners who really want to get the message out there, who's loved doing the live and the energy of being on Facebook, because I really enjoyed it. However, it just doesn't feel like, this feels like home, because I know that it's got so much potential. Robin says, yes, picking my parents, and yes, I believe it. You do. You believe that our children chose us, and obviously, if we've made that choice as light workers to be in the environment, it's not that we have to love it, right, or love every minute of it, because we're going through our spiritual awakening. And often, I don't know if this is true for you, often we might feel a little bit different. I've always felt different. I think people have always felt that I was different. Like, you're different. I'm like, different how? Like, different from who? But I do feel different. And so until you meet other light workers and you're like, I got it, it's cool. Meet your soul sisters and your soul brothers and your soul group, and you're like, yes. And that's what the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network is about, creating that joint vision and networking together. That's the space that I want to create for us. But when we choose that environment, oftentimes I think we can get a bit pissed with it. Like, why do I feel so different? Why does life have to be that way? Like, why don't I resonate with everybody else? Although we don't want to fit in. When we're younger, for me anyway, I couldn't really understand it. I was just like, I knew I was an old soul. Didn't know I was an empath. Didn't know, obviously, light workers and stuff. I remember first looking up the term light worker online. I thought, oh, I'd love to be one of those. They sound amazing. People, no clue. No clue. It wasn't, I hadn't gone through my spiritual awakening then. But we do choose, and it's up to us to do what we came to do with that environment, I believe. Robin says, love SBYN. Yeah, I love the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. It was the Spiritual Businesswoman Network, and it was flying really high. And I had to pause it, not just because of the Facebook platform, which I'm really glad that I did now, but just because the environment that I wanted to be on was primarily YouTube, and a lot of people who were in my community at the time didn't know what they wanted for their environment, didn't know how they wanted to get their light work out in the world. And a lot of people were very fearful of being visible and being online. And I'm like, look, if we are going to be a light workers and we are here to do our light work in the world, we have to show up, speak out, and serve deep. That's the core message of the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. I have to put it on YouTube, because that means that you have to come on camera. You have, if you want to build a business and get your message out there, you can't be hiding on just a Facebook post. You can't be hiding behind email list building. We talk about legacy building, which means you've got to show your face. You got to show your face and put your message out there, and get really clear on your message and really clear on that movement, and be willing to receive that money for your spiritual business. And a lot of people around me at the time were so busy hiding on their profiles. I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't support you and help you, which I'm really passionate about, if you're hiding on in lazy mode scrolling on Facebook. Like, why would you do that with your day? So it was just an environment that I'm like, I've outgrown now. Robin's not says alone no more. Yeah, we don't have to be alone, we don't have to do it alone. Sometimes we're isolated in our environment, especially when we go through our spiritual awakening. It's rough, but we didn't come to do it alone. And I was like, at the time, I had a lot of people around me, amazing people around me. But I was like, I will not do this alone. I was in my twin flame union when I came back online after my son passed. And I was like, I'm not doing it alone. And I built up the environment online based on it not just being me. People have fallen away and bounced out of my environment, but the energy has stayed with me to grow the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, as you said, Robin, the SBYN. So I've reached out to people. I posted today about the book, and so I happened to go onto Facebook, and I saw a post from like a school that I went to, my high school. It was an all girls school. That was the environment that I grew up in. So what happened to you, from the book from Oprah Winfrey, that's what happened to me. I grew up and I went to an all girls school. There's so many things that happened at school. There's so many things that lots of people were triggered by and stayed with them from their school days. Has anything stayed with you from your school days and led you? Does it actually dictate how you show up online? A lot of people can be quite catty with like an all girls environment. Doing the Spiritual Biz Woman Network, that's probably why I'm like, I did it, and then I was like, no, I want to do the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. Let's bring some masculine energy in there as well. And I'm more in my masculine than I'm in my feminine most of the time. So I saw a post from people that were from school. We're going to have a reunion, and I said, has everybody got Telegram? Do you know what Telegram is? Like, what's Telegram? The last time I heard of that was 30 years ago. I believe Telegram was big at one point, and I never joined it. And it might have been different. I'm not sure. Now the apps all kind of look the same. So whether that was ahead of its time, I'm not sure. But that not everybody's into the Telegram and the Signal. It's WhatsApp and Facebook and Insta and all of that, and that's good for everybody who resonates. But I had to make a decision of where I wanted my light work to be. So that is me. So my vision is to reach 100,000 subscribers on the Soul Legacy TV. So like this video, subscribe, come and join me live, invite somebody in, share it out, just to help support Soul Legacy TV and support light workers in launching, leading, and leaving their soul legacy with ease, grace, and flow. Vision, values, that's my values. Where I want to show up, it's got to be in alignment with my values. And if it's not fun, it's not in integrity, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying. How do you feel? Do your values lead the way in your life, or do you get pushed and pulled by, like, this is what I should do, this is what I feel like I should be doing, but really you don't agree with it? Are you a leader or are you a follower? I'm very much a leader, but I also know how to follow, but I'm very much a leader. And some people do follow along, and that's fine. Obviously, if you have a tribe, you follow along. But on a YouTube channel, as a spiritual lead, you have to become a spiritual teacher and leader. And I feel like some people shy away from that. Vibration. So on the Soul Legacy TV, I talk about every single day rating our vibration, raising our vibrational frequency. I call it the Chase to Financial Freedom frequency, because we want to raise the vibration of the planet, like, and that starts with us. And often it's like, well, we might think as light workers, I'm going to go, and especially when we've gone through our spiritual awakening, right? And we do all these spiritual rituals and routines, then we might drop off, but we'll still say, I want to go out there and help and heal the world. I want to do, so much transformational work in the world, still hiding behind closed doors, right? In our own environment. And I know that the world really needs love, and the world really needs healing, and the world really needs all things, and the pandemic and all of the things. And a lot of crazy stuff happens in the world. However, that vibration begins with us. And when we are going out there doing our light work, and it's not necessarily everybody who's a light worker is in business, but I'm talking about spiritual business success on the Soul Legacy TV. So not when we're going out there and we're saying, I want to help and heal the world, I believe that we have to help and heal ourselves first, or along the way, start that journey at least. Otherwise, we come from a space that isn't from that soul awareness, and it isn't from the lens of our soul. It's that lens of, let me go out and fix everybody else, because I don't need fixing. I'm going to tell you to do you to do this, you to do that. And we point the finger. We get mad when people don't do what we want them to do, who are in our immediate environment. And then we get mad at our local environment. And then, the world. And sometimes we might even say, universe, you're not giving me what it is that I want. And we're all like spiraling down. We talked about emotional freedom Wednesday. Are you at that point, or are you vibing high? So I rate myself between a 1 and 11. We don't get a 0 because we're breathing. We're not ungrateful. Like, that gratitude is big. Robin says, I agree, we have to start healing ourselves first. And Robin talks about on the Energy Healing TV, our chakras and our energy, and that ancestor, the energy that we have trapped in our body through the layers of the chakras that we don't even realize. And when we're clearing some of the energy, then we're still gunking it up, right? And I talk about soul funk and soul flow, and the words we use, the thoughts that we think, and Robin talks about those things as well, because it matters what happened to you, the thoughts and the feelings. And not everything is our fault, right? It's not like, but we do have to own it. We do have to make a decision of, okay, if we want to do our best work in the world, and this is what the spiritual journal with me is all about, if we are here to do our best work in the world, at least show people that we are pointing the finger at and saying, hey, you need healing, or come and buy my stuff because I can help and heal you. Let them see that you're walking your talk and doing your own stuff. That's one of my bugbears, is that we'll go out there and build a list and come on my list, and I'll sell to you. You don't know that person. You don't know if they're practicing what they preach. And most of the time we don't, because we all drop off. And part of the Soul Legacy TV and the Soul Legacy Journal was these rituals and routines, is sharing my process, so that you can see that it's okay to come on YouTube and just share. Like, a lot of people don't want to be in a certain environment, especially live, because you don't want to be judged and things have got to be perfect. And what if I say the wrong thing? If those people are judging, because there's a lot of trolls and different things online in the online space, I get it. But there's a lot of great, amazing people as well. So what environment do you want to be in immediately, in your immediate environment? How are you doing? Like, I love my environments from last week when we talked about environmental freedom. I will go back and see what my rating was. It was a 9. Because I had my home to do and to organise, and I set the intention to do that over this last week, and I've done that. I followed through, and I love that, because when you set an intention and you set a goal and you don't follow through, you kind of beat yourself up. But I haven't. I've done it, and I've done like every window, every door, every skirting board, underneath shit. Like, I was preparing for a home exchange, a visit. I went to somebody else's house, which is where I love to walk, in the next town down. Didn't actually work out. She didn't want to exchange, although she reached out to me and asked and saw pictures of my home. And I went, and she came here, and she's like, oh, well, I don't really want to uproot my children. I've got to make a big decision. I'm like, dude, don't reach out to people and ask that. Like, why? But the gratitude of, like, when something doesn't work out, it wasn't a perfect home, and I would have had to put a lot of money behind it to get it up to scratch, and the cleanliness and different things that I wanted to have, or I have, or I'm used to. But the location was great. The location, the environment was by the lake that I love to sit by and meditate. Excuse me. But then I was saying to Robin earlier on that what's great about that experience, it still ended up being for me, because it prompted me to get all of everything that I wanted to do done. There's a little bit of stuff that's outside that needs shifted in the garden, but that's it. That should be done over the next week or so. So how is your environment feeling? Are you organized? My values in my environment is to be organized and to be efficient. So every day I think, what is my North Star in environment? How do I want to leave? How do I want to move it? How do I want to launch my day, lead my day, and leave my day? What environments do I want to be in? I want to travel. The local environment that I'm in now, I love my home. I'd love to pick it up. It's not a bad environment. I've just been here a while, been here 9 years, and I'm ready to travel while I teach. And I manifested a laptop, and Robin's manifested a laptop as well within like a few weeks of each other, which is great, which was unexpected. And so we can travel while we teach. Do you want to travel while you teach? What is your environment like? And do you want to? Are you organized? What's your biggest value for your environment? Let me know. Okay, so I've done the book. I'm going to pull a card for today as we wrap up from the Keepers of the Light. This is a good one. I talked about gratitude. What I do gratitude. If your environment is not the way that you want it to be, or if you want to put your soul work into an online environment, as I teach, and your online teaching platform, which I love my environment online. I'm not even going to lie. I love doing my recordings for the Soul Legacy Academy. I'm building that out even more. Express gratitude. So the way that I express gratitude, I call it a cheers to financial freedom frequency gratitude. I'll come to your rating in a second, Rowan. And so I say I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I appreciate. And I think of all the things that I'm happy and grateful and I appreciate in the past, in the present, and the predicted. So if you are not in the environment that you want to be in, express gratitude for the environments for when you have been in amazing environments, and then express gratitude for where you are, even though it might not be exactly so. The location, I'd love to be by the lake. I'd love to be abroad, to be fair, but like, I've been abroad. I love that I've seen the world and I get to explore the world a little bit more. Or I love that my home is clean and it's tidy. So when I love that the lake is within walking distance. Do you know what I mean? So just find something to be happy and grateful for. That's me in my pajamas. Robin says my emotional freedom rating is 7-ish. Robin has a habit of doing ishes. You can do an ish if you like. So in short, for Environmental Freedom Thursday, it's EFT equals, and Robin said 7, mine's 11. So again, I'm not sure what your rating was last week, Robin, in your spiritual journal, but again, not just for Robin, just because it's Robin's here and sharing with us. if your environment is so the way that this whole spiritual journal with me works, and I know you know this, Robin, is the environment doesn't have to be perfect. So I would love to live abroad. I want to have a barn conversion. If I rated between a 1 and an 11, and I was like waiting for my barn conversion to feel an 11, I would never feel that before I got the barn. So although you might vibe at 2, I've gone right down. I'm like, I think I'm at 2 right now. Do you know what I mean? Like certain ways that you feel, that's fine. But notice on a Sunday, we're going to do the vibration. I notice when we dip and we'll do our rating, it's out of 11 every single day on a Sunday. You add them up and you calculate for 77 out of 77 to see how high vibe you have been all week, that frequency. So when you notice it dip, it might not have dipped, it might have improved. So Robin, you have to let us know if that's improved from last week or if it's dipped, and what if it was a higher last week, what has changed this week? Is it people? Is it you? Is it that you haven't kept up to a routine? What is it? And go back and do more. If it is that it's improved, then do more of what you've been doing. So mine was a 9, not because my environment was awful, it was because it wasn't organized and efficient. It wasn't in alignment with my values. So 1 to 11 is on my Soul Legacy wheel. It has the 11 in the North Star. It has if I'm in alignment with my values and I'm moving towards that, I'm high vibing. I don't wait for the physical to change. And we know that anyway. We were talking about that for emotional freedom. Don't just get caught in the physical looking. My environment is not the way that I want it to be. I want to be far away from here. Or I want to be online, or I want to have like a million subscribers on YouTube for my business, or I want to have whatever studio or whatever. That's not it. The manifestation comes when we manage to high vibe. And have a look at the emotional scale that we talked about for Abraham Hicks yesterday on emotional freedom. What emotion are you feeling? What's connected to that vibration when it dips? So for me, last week, it's like I just wasn't in alignment with my own values and my own routine. So I'm like, okay, I can improve that. Although I didn't get the house, I didn't exchange, I'm still high vibing at the 11. That makes sense. Yes, I do. Gratitude. Yeah, I say I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I appreciate. Robin says, I think it's the same actually. Cool. Had some dips, just noticed. So that's why I keep my spiritual journal. And I noticed, Robin, I know that you have that energy healing lifestyle in your journal, but just if you I put a rating at the top out of the 11, and that isn't a star, but it's like representing a star because I can't draw it. It's a North Star, your North Star value. Some people are in alignment with setting goals and some people are not. So I wanted to have that North Star, and I talk about this on the Spiritual Vision Board Challenge. So Robin says, I think it's the same actually. It had some dips, but also had some improvements. Awesome. All right, roller coaster with emotional freedom this week, environmental freedom this week. Cool. So, excuse me. Thank you, Robin, for sharing that, because I love that you do come on with me, because it sets that example for others to like, the idea of the Chase of Financial Freedom frequency is contribution freedom frequency, health freedom frequency, emotional freedom frequency, environmental freedom frequency, relationship freedom frequency, spiritual freedom frequency, financial freedom frequency, is to have you emitting that vibration. People talk about the law of attraction, like it's going to come to me, it's going to come to me. It's the vibration that we are emitting and we're putting out there as a collective consciousness, poverty consciousness to a prosperity consciousness. And yes, we want to help and heal the world. Our own healing means that we're going to be high vibing. Excuse me. So that's that vibration. That's not even going out there and healing all of our health. It's the healing of the vibration of the planet. Do you know what I mean? It's we are energy. So when we go on this emotional roller coaster, which we know that we've done since the pandemic, it's impacting the planet. And so when read the newspapers or watch the news, rarely. Occasionally I'll tap into it, but it's what is pushing and pulling you. So maybe you journal on it, and I call it soul funk to soul flow. So notice what is the soul funk, and then write what is the soul flow. What would you like to experience instead, so that you're intending for the next week. And Abraham Hicks talks about segment intending, meaning that every time you move into a section of your day, you set the energy forth before you move in. So before I come on the live, I can segment intend, moving from my exercise, what do I need to do to clear that energy of me focusing on myself, on my body, and how do I want this to vibe? How do I want to vibe? How do I want to show up? How do I want to speak out? I can set the energy forth before doing it, before pressing the live. I've gone and I actually got my jammies on, but I got myself ready. I put my green t-shirt on, and I got into that zone of, I got my spiritual journal. So I segment intended and visualize that would go the way that I want it to go, whether somebody shows up or not. And so just be really mindful. I'm talking to you, Robin, but you know that I'm really talking to everyone, anyone who's watching on the replay, that this goes for all of the freedoms. It's quite tricky, because when I do a call, I'll say visualize your life 12 months out, and I'll say act as if, speak that into existence, and speak as if that has already happened. And people go, and I go say I am in the moment, like it's already happened, and people are like, I can't. And Robin, you know you've had one of those conversations, so do that more so throughout the week. What do I want to talk about? Gratitude, launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day. I'm not on the right page. I'm on relationship freedom. I'm like, why does it say love languages? That's tomorrow. Okay. Heart chakra, Robin, on Robin's Energy Healing TV. Robin talks about unblocking your chakras. As I talked about teaching you to do a YouTube challenge versus a Facebook challenge, Robin has done that. We did it on Facebook live. I've done mine on YouTube now, but Robin, you did yours on Facebook at first, and she'll do it again annually as her tribe grows. Unblocking your chakras over the 7 days. So addressing each of the 7 chakras. Obviously, there's more chakras. There's a lot more chakras. The main chakras that people that are well known. Robin focuses on that, and that's on the replay on the Energy Healing TV and podcast. If you go to YouTube and type in Energy Healing TV podcast, you'll see it. Make sure you see Robin's face on there, and if you just click on Robin's name, then you'll go to that, go to her YouTube channel. She's also got a 5-day money box clearing challenge, which I talk about the relationship with money, and I talk about financial freedom. And as light workers, I want to say that environmental freedom, relating it to your contribution, relating it to your health, relating it to your emotions, relating it to your relationships, relating it to your spirituality and your finances. When you don't allow the money in, it impacts the fact that your finances, it impacts the environments that you can be in. So all of the freedoms are integrated. So Robin and I recently manifested laptops, which it takes money, right? So the process of manifesting, not always having to pay for the thing that's being manifested. Sometimes we have things on our vision board, and it's like, I've got to save all the money for this, and it's like, we don't know how things are going to come to us. But if we don't allow that financial freedom in, then we're not going to be able to travel while we teach. We're not going to Robin says, thank you, love. You're welcome, beautiful. We're not going to, without that money, with the money box clearing challenge, without receiving that energy exchange for our soul work and our soul-based business, we then limit the experiences that we can have. We limit with our relationships, our date nights, our date days, we limit with our health, eating organic food and healthy. We limit just there's, when I talk about there's a program in the UK, I haven't talked about it for a while, actually. I might talk about it on Sunday, called Rich House Poor House. So Robert Kawasaki, with his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Rich House Poor House, it talks about two environments for two families, one in a rich house, one in a poor house, for want of better words, right? Robin says, allowing self to be open to receive, brought it straight in. Yes, get in there. Boom. Exactly. I'm going to read that again. So Robin says, allowing self to be open to receive, brought it straight in. That manifests straight in. And I literally witnessed this. This was Sunday, and by Thursday, it's here, which on Sunday, if you said, look, you're going to get a new laptop on Thursday, you'd be like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? Like, are you crazy? Which changes the environment that you can then work in, right? It gives you that level of freedom. But I had my Mac in my office for the last 7 years. I didn't realize that. Obviously, I've got my iPhone as well, and it's new for me to go on my phone, apart from when I was doing my lives on Facebook and stuff. But I was a prisoner in my office, really, and I didn't feel like that. I love my Mac, and it died, right? So I got a Mac laptop, and now I feel that sense of freedom. And I was working in my bedroom, and I was working down in my living room. I used to bring my Mac downstairs, but it was a bit of a chore. It's not crazy because they don't have a lot of wires and stuff. They have one wire. But when I put the laptop in my office because I realized that I was just like going to be in my bed like 24/7. It was lovely. I love working in my bed. I still will, but I'm trying to sort out my sleep, my health. But anyway, the environments, not allowing that money in matters. It impacts everything. You know, if you don't allow the money in, you're not going to travel. You're not going to be able to provide. You're not going to have the home that you want to have. And it's not just the material stuff. It's having the experiences. Like for me, for the YouTube, I don't have an editor. Other people might want an editor. But having that environment where I can pay for the ads, being an environment that's automated, it's just beautiful. You've got to be willing to be open, I would say. Robin says, no, I would have said a bunch of reasons how I could not get a laptop had you said it was coming. And so it's that work environment, that not only working online that we get to do, but while we're working, what environment we are in while we're working. So I love working outside. I used to take my laptop to the park. I used to take my laptop to go out in the garden, all of the things. It's beautiful. Robin says, it absolutely brings more freedom to serve. Yeah, showing up and speaking out, serve indeed. I'm going to keep going. I've only got a couple of things. I'm going to pull the card in a second. Let me just check. Talked about the book. We talked about launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day. Talked about chakra, which is heart chakra healing, Thursday in Robin's World. And the crystal that I bought some chakra crystals, is a rose quartz crystal for me. This is the chakra that I wanted to hold in my space. Robin gave me some guidance on that, so I really appreciate that, Robin. That's my gratitude stone. So the rose quartz crystal and the chakra, so I won't go into what the rose quartz crystal is, but the chakra is matters of the heart and calming. Is that calming friction in relationships of all kinds? Ooh, into your heart. Love it. Right, okay, I've got a quote and then I'm going to wrap up. Did I do the vibrational money voucher? I didn't, did I? We spent the vibrational money voucher along with Robin Knott's 5-day money blocks clearing challenge. So I was just talking about money, which was leading into that. So let me just say that this Soul Legacy Journal gives you £1,000, dollars, or euros every single day. I say every single day to spend on money. So this is why Robin, not this is exactly why, but this is one of the tools that Robin has used. Obviously, she's got her money blocks clearing and her energy clearing, which has supported her in this. But playing the soul income game, bank 50k in 50 days, as part of doing this spiritual routines and rituals, I give you a vibrational money voucher. It's not real money, right? Don't ask me for real money. It's vibrational money, right? Don't ask me for a laptop, but if you do the vibrational stuff, it'll work, right? So you get to tithe 10% to a worthy cause every single day, $100, pounds or euros, wherever you are in the world. You don't get to spend it on bills, and you don't get to spend the vibrational money voucher on or save it on savings unless you just carry over the money until the next day, own it until the Sunday for financial freedom. You've got to spend it by financial freedom Sunday or you'll lose it. So this vibrational money voucher is to support you in spending vibrational money. Go to and have a holiday. My daughter just came in. Go on a holiday, do whatever you need to do. If you save, so you get 900 to spend each day. If you save it, so you get 7K in a week, right? What coach gives you 7K? If you save it to the Sunday, which I will do mine again on Sunday and share with you what I purchased, you can buy a bigger purchase. Like Robin put a down payment on an RV, but just being in vibration and being excited, and then it's like, well, actually, if I have my RV, I'm going to need like a laptop. I'm going to need all these things, and then the laptop came. It's like, well, the RV is coming, right? So Robin says 100%. Awesome. So that is the vibrational money voucher. Take it, do it or not. If you're watching in the Soul Legacy Academy, come to the 7 Freedoms call. It's a monthly 2-hour call where I share all of this. It's a bonus for my boot campers. If you want to know about my boot camp and this Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge, then I have the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass, which I will pin down in the comments for you. I haven't pinned them the last time, or it's in the description. I'll teach you how to show up, speak out, and serve deep, and sign up your high-paying soul clients so that you can have your work in the environments that you want to have it in. All right, so this is a quote, and then I'm going to pull the card, and then I'm going to wrap up because we've been on here nearly an hour. All right, so from a Momentum app today, and I actually tweeted this quote. I didn't realize that you could click on my laptop. I have the Momentum app. Robin, did you set up the Momentum app? I don't know if it gives everybody the same quote in a day. It gives me this quote and it really inspires me. I love it. And it says, once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. Can I get an amen? Once you replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, you will start having positive results. That's exactly what Oprah Winfrey was saying in the book. Like, what happened to you impacts your thoughts. So once you replace those negative, spirally down thoughts, you know, those things that don't feel so good, poverty consciousness, to a prosperity consciousness. And I was going to talk, the Rich House, Poor House was the program where 2 houses swapped environments. Obviously, it suggests one was rich and one was poor, but they swapped their daily routines, their activities, their budget, and all the things. And then they experienced what it was like to have that different environment of somebody else's life. So when somebody's got to a certain station in their life, and then they wanted, most of the time, the people in the rich house wanted to humble their children, to be grateful for what they actually had and not take it for granted. And the ones in the poorer house wanted to actually experience how the other half live, as they say. And usually these houses were not that many miles apart, maybe 7 miles, 10 miles, even 3 miles. So depending on your environment, where you are and what home you have, is the experience that you have on a daily basis. Some people had the poorer houses the poor house tended to be smaller and less bathrooms, less bedrooms, and sharing bedrooms, and all the things we think, oh, it's like, because I don't need the money, I don't want the money. Like, dude, your family, that legacy, break that cycle and that chain. Like, oh, well, I don't want the money. Well, tithe it then. Do you know what I mean? Pass it on to somebody who does want it, earn it and pass it on. So for me, for the Soul Legacy Academy, I have scholarships. It's like, it isn't about the money, but you can, if you are in that space of freedom for your environment, invite people into your environment and give them a scholarship. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, you did not set up the Momentum app. I love the Momentum app. Do you resonate with that? I love it. Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. So with the Soul Income Game, you're replacing that I don't have the money. So yeah, Iona's just given me the money with the Soul Legacy journal, the Soul Income Game. I've got loads of money. I've got 7K in a week. Boom. So anyway, right. Okay. So that quote was by, who was it? Willie Nelson? Anyway, so I tweeted that today. I thought it was pretty cool. So that is it. Oh, the 444s are big. I'm going to talk about that on Spiritual Freedom. Saturday. Let me pull this card for you. This is cards from the card deck from Carl Gray called Keepers of the Light. And so today we got Master Jesus. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a thing. Forgiveness is a huge thing. So this card says you are on the path of light. This is for me, and this is also for you, I believe. Love and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. Ooh, what happened to you, right? You are on the path of light, love and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. I actually had my biological dad, my dad that raised me, and then I've had influences of father figures. So let's see, what was it? So about a man who needs no introduction through both the Gospels and the, I don't know how you say that. Is it, no, I don't know how you say that. We have come to know Jesus as a great teacher. Loving guide and generous soul who accepts us all. Although he is the focal point of Christianity, he will respond to anyone who reaches out to him. He helps us overcome sacrificial love when we have to leave behind something in order to get the love we want. Wow. He is also the light keeper we can call on for support with forgiveness. He reminds us that our connection to love is the most important connection we will ever create. He's the twin flame of Mary Magdalene. Extended message. Forgiveness is the act of self-love. Robin. So Robin Knott has the self-love movement, that journey back to self-love on a daily basis. So if you are thinking on your self-love journey that you can skip forgiveness, because forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person. You are being encouraged to know whatever you have done to yourself or to others, the divine is not condemning you. You don't have to forget what has happened. And I do believe that. I don't forget what's happened. It's like, dude, no, I'm not forgetting it. However, that forgiveness and that letting go, and I'm not perfect at it for the most part. I'm not a really bitter person. I'm aware, and then I'll move in a more cautious way sometimes, but for the most part it's free flowing, and that forgiveness, I give myself grace all of the time. So if you need to give yourself grace for anything, then this is your opportunity to. But you no longer need to allow your whole story to be defined by a situation that does not support your happiness. Jesus is here to bring miraculous shifts of healing to you and all those around you, and to release you from the burden of self-loathing. He wants you to know that he sees the child of God within you. He also brings clarity and healing to any situations concerning your Father, either on earth or in heaven. Wow. Excuse me, that is huge. So if that resonates with you, let me know. I believe it's for all of us. I believe it's huge. So that's it for environmental freedom. I never kind of know where this is going to go, but I really enjoy doing the environmental freedom, just noticing my own environment. Let me know if you resonate with this. If you are not subscribed to the SoulLegacyTV YouTube podcast, then please feel free to do that. Click the notification bell when you do subscribe, so then you'll get notified when I go live. Thank you, Robin, for joining me. Like this video, share it out, invite somebody in. I actually love this environment because today I set the intention to do my Spiritual Awakening annual YouTube summit and invite others to share their story in this environment. And I've been talking about it a little bit more on each of my daily lives. And somebody reached out to me, happened to be on Facebook. I wouldn't have gone onto Facebook today if it had not been for my daughter saying, Mum, you didn't see my Mother's Day post. And I said, no, I'd gone on there. And somebody had reached out to me and said, I'm literally watching one of your videos. I think our audience are similar. Would you be open to do a collaboration? That is what I teach, doing joint vision partnerships. and being in the right place and in their environment. I'm like, I'm not doing anything right now. I will be doing, I didn't say that, but I said, you know, for a soul match, which I'm really excited because I believe we are. I'm not doing interviews on the SoulLegacyTV outside of the #1 Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. There's 42 episodes coming throughout the year, so it's a lot to collaborate on, but I'm holding the space for you to actually create joint vision partnerships. So I'm super excited to get that going. So watch this space for more collaborations. But I love you, Robin. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care and have a beautiful day, and I shall see you for Relationship Freedom Friday. I do have a playlist. It might be down below that you'll see it, but you'll see it somewhere. Go to the SoulLegacyTV. Big love. Mwah. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.